Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Me and Will are back today to do a TV weekly podcast again, guys. This is, of course, the Disney Plus show, Loki, of course, starring Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, and many others. Will, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I will say I when I saw it Wednesday, I was so surprised how good it was, and
Oh yeah, you weren't expecting it to be good?
I this I don't know. I guess we can kind of discuss like that, like kind of like the Black Widow movie that's coming out. I had
Mhm.
some reservations about it, particularly because Loki died in Avengers: Infinity War, and
Yeah.
then when this was discussed, I was like, okay, I don't know if we knew Loki was gonna get his show before or after Endgame release because we didn't know what was gonna happen.
I believe they announced it. I don't know. I only
It,
remember it after Endgame released.
yeah, it was more like that
Yeah.
because Black Widow. We knew the Black Widow was coming out before we knew Natasha's fate in Avengers Endgame.
Right.
So it wasn't that awkward because that was more like after we saw Endgame, we're like, okay, what's gonna happen to that version? And then uh, Comic Con 2019, they announced Loki, and it made sense. It was like, okay, but besides that background, folks, well, we thought about this premiere of Loki, of course, episode titled "Glorious Purpose."
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Um, I mean, this was after WandaVision, the Disney Plus show that I was looking forward to the most, just because it had the weirdest premise.
Yes,
Um, and also just Tom Hiddleston as Loki is great. So yeah, and I think they did a good job setting up the TVA. Um, yeah, I mean the first episode was like entirely exposition, but I think they needed that, and it didn't feel like it was all exposition. It felt like Loki was like in over his head, and we were there with him. It felt natural. So
yes. Um, this is, I think, for me, the most impressive way to do expositions ever. Um,
okay.
they did it such a good and elegant way. Um, it's kind of ironic because yesterday I was watching a Jurassic Park marathon, and
Hmm.
and obviously if you saw the TVA commercial they have for at the beginning of the episode explain the multiverse, the
Yeah.
timekeepers.
Hmm.
It reminded me of the Mr. DNA for Jurassic Park,
Hmm.
and that was the most clever and inventive way to explain everything what's going to happen moving forward. And I
Hmm.
feel like that was like, oh my god, and just in general setting up the tone and like just what we're going to get ourselves into for a series. I was very impressed. I was shocked, not to go forward into the ending of the episode of where we know that the main villain or like the main corporate that we're gonna chase after is another version of Loki.
Hmm.
And I was surprised we did that because before, I mean, um, comparing to the other Disney Plus shows, I guess particularly One Division, we um, we didn't know who's like. I mean, that show they didn't want to. There wasn't like a main villain. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like Avengers Endgame or Infinity War with Thanos. It was multiple assailants against Wanda and Vision and their world, right?
Right. Right.
With it was like that, and then you got also same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier with the Flag Smashers, and then of course who was
Walker.
that? Yeah,
John
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Walker. Yeah, and here I was like, oh wow, right away we're just setting up, the corporate that's killing the TVA squad is another version of Loki. So it's very interesting. Like this was one of the most confident, like right away. setup premieres that I haven't seen in my life. So,
Mhm.
and there's a lot going on. Particularly, I guess. Well, I guess we can get into that. The opening when
Mhm.
Loki drops into the desert. What do you think about that scene alone? That was so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. And then I was pleasantly surprised to see Wunmi Musaku as the TVA agent that like
Oh
takes him
yes.
in. I didn't know she was in this, but I saw her in Lovecraft Country last summer, and I loved that.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
so yeah, I didn't know she was going to be in this, and the second she stepped out and started talking, I was like, oh hey, you know.
That's her. Yes,
Uh,
I know. Oh, okay. That I knew she was familiar. I didn't recognize her. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, she's great. Actually, she's my favorite character in this pilot. She was
oh,
very, no nonsense, and I love her reaction when Loki was trying to use his powers, and like
mhm.
she say, "Madam, she's trying to use his powers." Such a good delivery. Yeah. Yeah, she's very great in this pilot. Episode 1 of
Yeah.
Loki. Uh, I'm happy that she has a main role, so that's good.
Hmm.
And yeah, she plays a actual character. Um, or not, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we'll
Yeah,
get, I'm trying to find her character's name.
I don't know if she has a name.
Casey, I think that's her name, right? Or
No,
no.
Casey was the guy with the cart with all the Infinity
Oh,
Stones.
what was funny? He's funny.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah.
I think she's called like Hunter
Hun-
something.
Hunter,
Like,
Hunter
or
B-15.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I find her. Yeah, yeah, they show like had a lot of what the producers been saying. Like it's Hitchhikes the Galaxy. Um, Here, let me say it right.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that, and they mentioned like Madman with its
the
philosophy.
the, the DB Cooper scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wasn't expecting that so early.
Yeah, me
I
either. I thought that was gonna be like a plot point, not a flashback. But
Yes, and
it
I
was still
love.
fun.
Yeah, it was so fun, and I was so into the line that Loki says, like, "Look, I lost a bet to Thor. I was young." That was great.
Yeah. Although, like, was he young? Because that was only like 60 years ago, and he's centuries old.
I mean,
That kind
I
of,
well, it's
I don't know.
I don't know. I think you get the
Yeah, yeah,
disbelief with
yeah,
that because
yeah.
yeah, that was weird. But yeah, I didn't think about the age. That's true. I, and it's like I think it's before I guess Thor and Loki became like more involved with the like Asgard politics, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
No. So,
definitely.
yeah. But yeah, I I guess I think this episode did a really good job of like setting up um the TVA and the whole multiverse here
Hmm.
properly, and I was very happy about that because it's been crazy. Uh, not we haven't had the movies yet, like Spider-Man No Way Home, but it was like when we're gonna get the multiverse thing,
Hmm.
and this show is probably it, right? But
Right.
you know, and I think they did a really good job of setting up, the time variance authority and like everyone in this organization, and just interesting that using Loki for this. I
Yeah.
Yeah. You think it was going to be? I don't know what character makes sense to use this, but I guess Loki
Like,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Uh,
Alternate timelines. It's usually like Reed Richards, right?
yeah. And yeah, I was gonna say Fantastic Four, and I mean we don't have them, so
Right. Huh.
but yeah. So going through this episode, um, I mean first off, uh, Loki getting captured and like him. was like going through the steps of, you know, getting his trial. But from there, what you thought about that scene as alone?
Yeah, it was good. I liked all of the like quick jokes when he was going through security at the TVA, right?
Yes.
Like,
Oh my God.
please confirm that this is everything you've ever said, and then he like keeps talking and they're adding more
Yeah.
papers.
And the paper just keep going.
Yeah, I think the metal detector thing that'll like kill you if you're a robot,
Oh my
which is
God.
so like weird and off-putting. It's just a great way to like show that Loki's completely out of his element and like
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God. And then my favorite one was after he got done with that, he had to, get the line, the ticket.
The
And
ticket, yeah.
yes. And that was one of the best cut scenes ever. Just him seeing the person get, like, was it reset or
Yeah,
revised?
reset. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that afterwards he just like, here's my ticket. And then we cut to his, like the series title. That was amazing. Oh my God. Oh, oh God. And I think, yeah. So after that kind of, we meet another major character we're gonna have in the series is Owen Wilson's character he's playing, Agent Mobius. Yeah, Mobius.
Yeah.
And what do you think about him in this episode 1, Will?
Yeah, I thought it was really like funny, and I liked his relationship with Loki. Just like very like patient and understanding, which is
Yeah.
just like a new approach to Loki. So uh, yeah, no, I think that's gonna be fun.
Yes. Yeah, and it was very curious why he wanted to talk to Loki, and of course it was before the ending we find out. Like,
Right.
and yeah, I think Owen Wilson did a great job in this episode. I love his presence. It just helps bring this, the weirdness in a grounded way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, like it's like every day of the office kind of feel. And I feel like he really pulled that like that vibe very well. And like
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and his chemistry with Hiddleston is amazing. I mean, like um it, like his whole conversation with Loki,
Mm-hmm.
and like him going through the questions like, why do you kill people? Like, do you enjoy it? And like I never thought to have that discussion with Loki. And um I think that whole scene of him talking to Loki in that room at his office and showing him his timeline, with the, the Cooper, which by the way, I love how you say that's his favorite moment.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. Oh my God. And then him getting to more like the other timeline that he hasn't gone through, Thor: The Dark World,
Mm-hmm.
and then him seeing his mom die was like so powerful, and that was one of Hiddleston's best performance. And like,
Yeah, yeah.
eh,
And I read somewhere that Hiddleston was like the one who wanted the "I love you, my son's" line to be included in that scene.
and they did.
Um, yeah, because I was just really happy that they like showed all of those clips to the 2012 Loki, because I wanted that character development to like still be there
Yes.
somehow, you know.
Um.
Um,
Well, and everything what he has done afterwards, like besides the Avengers, you know, Dark World and Ragnarok, and then like and Infinity War.
yeah,
I was surprised we went not only like, and I mean it's important because Thor: Dark World does develop Loki a lot. I mean,
right,
we mentioned in the Thor: Dark World podcast that that's his movie.
right, yeah,
And I'm happy they actually put that, because that was a very important moment of Loki in his life, and I think that's good that they brought that. Um, yeah, and then, but that's also my favorite scene with Owen Wilson's character, because that really shows who he is as a character. Um, just him saying like, okay, when Loki starts, criticizing him and the whole TVA, and like he say like that's enough you say or something like that. I don't know what um, it's, something something he say like that's enough. That's all you had to say, and so that's what you say in that scene after Loki just criticize him and the whole TVA and how they're not real and they're not like the gods and stuff like that. It's a very good scene. That whole scene is amazing.
Yeah. No, I like how Mobius just like sees right through Loki's whole like powerful front. Yeah, it's great.
And I and then and just kind of pick it back. We had another character was also introduced was was it Redevin Rensselaer, that's played by the actress that was in the Black Mirror episode, Jennifer So, Garov Raw, that's her name. She's here as well. She's like a former hunter that became a judge, Loki's judge that we've seen, and of course, I guess she also knows what's going on and who's killing, the time variance agents, and so hopefully we see more of her. We did see I'd seen a couple of scenes of her already in the show and the trailers before, so hopefully she continues. And so that was cool. So we had like half the cast here in this episode 1, was very impressive to see. And then after we kind of end like his how you say, like his session with Agent Mobius, and of course the hunter comes in and say that there was another attack, and then of course Loki quickly got the thing that reversed time. When he was trying to escape, which is used so perfectly in a comedic way, which is fun. And then he starts to go around in the the TVA, I guess, department, because we don't know this is a world or a pocket dimension, whatever. And of course he meets Casey, the TVA reception, and that scene was also funny, just him trying to scare him, and then it doesn't work. Like he didn't know what a fish is, which is fun. Oh my god, that was hilarious. And then you had to say something about that scene.
Yeah, I mean, I love everything about the TVA that we've seen so far. I love the like 1950s or 60s aesthetic. I love the like when they're looking at the window at the big like cityscape, and it looks like something like straight off a pulp science fiction cover from like back in the day. I love how like everything is so like alien, and just the guy not knowing what a fish was because he spent his entire existence like behind a desk is hilarious.
Oh my god, and weird too.
It's so weird. I also, with that character, I loved when Loki came in and they like gave that guy the Tesseract.
Yes. Oh my god.
And Loki was like, "There's the Tesseract. Be very careful with it." And the guy just shouts back, "Sounds dumb."
Yes, I know. I heard that. I know. I rewatched this episode just today, and there were things that I missed. Like when we first meet Agent Mobius, and he talked was it Greece or Romania, Italy,
French, I think.
French, yeah. And then he made a sarcastic thing about the agent that he was with, and he say, "Oh, you're such a jackass," because he too has all the languages he knows to speak, and that was a funny line there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, I remember that line. That was so funny. And then my favorite line was him saying, "Look, gods do not appeal." That was my favorite line. You say, that was so funny. When to the judge, you say like, "Ma'am, God don't appeal. And, that was fun. Oh my god, yeah. And then that scene was interesting because when he got the Tesseract back, he saw all the Infinity Stones in that
Mm-hmm.
case, and then like it was interesting that he opened his eyes and finally accepted that. The question, why do you think he like my question is, well, why do you think he started to take the this World Series now?
Yeah.
Why? Like,
Well, I think
because
Loki, especially 2012 Loki,
mm-hmm,
is like very interested in like the Infinity Stones as this like ultimate source of power,
right,
right? And then he sees them being used as paperweights, and I think he's thinking like, oh, like the TVA has the real power.
yeah,
Um,
which is
yeah,
scary.
it's scary, it's humbling, and I have a feeling he's gonna try to figure out a way to wield the TVA's power like by himself.
Yeah, if he meets his other like Loki,
Mm-hmm.
that we know now, like, is he gonna join up with her or him? Because we don't know. We're gonna have a lady Loki in the series, but like, is he gonna join up with the other various versions of Loki and like take over the TVA and the whole multiverse?
Mm-hmm.
And that's very interesting. Okay, that makes sense because I was very curious about that. That made more sense because it was such a like comedic scene. I never, um, but now it makes sense. Yeah, and then he, yeah, then that's where he goes back to Morbius' office, and then he starts to rewatch. Like he finally watched his other half of his life,
Yeah.
and we get that great scene of him seeing Odin dying, and then like him seeing his death by
Mm-hmm.
Thanos in the Infinity War, and like um very powerful scene, and then that like really shows Hillison's acting chops. It's just amazing with his
Mm-hmm.
face and just really great reaction, and he starts to laugh, which is kind of interesting. Like after that whole montage of his life is over,
Mm-hmm.
on the screen, it was interesting, and Agent B-15, the hunter, comes in, and they have a pretty good fight there, and then he starts. Then he finally she gets the worst end of Loki putting the collar in her, and then he starts doing the time loop on her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As yeah, that was a great scene, and that was a great just comedic and just him just getting payback for her what he did early on the episode. So that was really cool, and then I guess we can go into uh, discussing I guess the future of the series. Uh First off, people are you want to discuss like the theories and stuff like that people have been discussing since
Oh,
Wednesday. Um
sure. I mean, I haven't been checking on them.
yeah, I
Uh,
well, some of them are interesting, and then some of them is like okay. First off, we have a like a quick cameo of a scroll. Um,
yeah, I did see that.
that was cool.
Yep.
So Marvel is kind of like already showing that the scrolls are already being more involved in the MCU. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Before we get Secret Invasion and Marvels, and then there was another one that people picked up that I don't know if you have any opinion, but there was a shot quickly that it looked like Peggy Carter when Loki, I say, escapes from when he was with uh Moby. Well, after he escapes, after Morbius
Mm-hmm.
leaves the office, he escapes, and there was a quick um scene when he sees another agent coming into those portals we see,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and Peggy was right there, and people have been expecting about that. That was another like quick, like okay, interesting.
Yeah,
So
I wonder if it's gonna be related to What If, the
mm,
like animated series, because one of those episodes is about Peggy taking up the shield
oh wow,
of
that's
his.
Oh my god, that'd be funny that the animation world is
Yeah,
canonical to MC. That'd be funny. That'd be
like
great.
every single episode of What If is like an alternate timeline that the TVA like destroyed.
Oh my god. Yes. Destroy. Yes. Oh my god, that is a clever way to do that. That's awesome. Another like cool references was the Iron Man callback when Loki lands to the desert. That was another like cool moment they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and him saying Glory's purpose, like it was kind of cool to
Yeah, that's a
down the
good
line.
line.
Yeah, and that becoming this series premiere title. That's pretty interesting, and so that was very cool. And what else? There was a ton of ones. Uh, da, 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 oh, and we kind of saw the Kree and Nova's attack on Titan when we see the animation thing. Oh, quick shout out of Miss Minutes. That was that. Um,
Yeah,
it was voiced by Tara Strong, who is my favorite voice actress, who did Bubbles and Powerpuff Girls and Batgirl and the newer Adventures of Batman and
yeah. I mean,
then
she's done so much.
oh my god, and she also voiced Harley as well. When Aaron Sorkin retired from Arkham Asylum, from Arkham City onwards, Tara has been doing that role. So
Mm-hmm.
very soon. And then another one that was a big surprise for me was the Nexon thing event. The word Nexon, because we
Uh-huh.
saw that in One Division as
The
the
Nexus, yeah.
yeah, in the Nexus. Thank you. And that was a surprise to see that again.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's gonna tie into Doctor Strange.
Yeah, because the guy, the agent, say that again when they were in Rome in 1549. So, yeah, that's very interesting. And then we got the devil and the church thing, which many people are thinking it's maybe Mephisto, and I, I mean, I don't know if that's Mephisto, but it's just it's probably showing a symbolism of Loki as a god of mischief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I guess what else? Oh, and then we got the Jossie drink, which is interesting. It's that soda brand that Owen was drinking while they're
Okay.
doing. This is like an old thing that was like in the late '90s. Yeah. Uh, okay, and then we got the DB Cooper reference that was we got before, but then we didn't know that it was a flashback of it. And then the big one that people have been talking about was Kane the Conqueror. And if in the scene of the judge, there was one head that looked like him as one of the timekeepers, and someone mentioned that they think the Kane or the Conqueror could be the control is one of the timekeepers, and it's the one that is behind the time the TVA, and so
Okay.
like yeah, and I mean I'm not gonna speculate that. That's something people are mentioning because this show is now. I mean, this show is a multiverse like hopping show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it could happen. We don't know. I mean, I guess. I mean, I think Marvel is gonna save him to appear in a Marvel movie, not a Disney Plus. I don't know. What do you think, Will?
Well, they cast the guy from Lovecraft Country as him in
Yeah,
the upcoming Ant-Man movie. So
yeah,
yeah, I think they would wait for his debut for that. I think,
yeah,
unless maybe there's like a post credits thing. You never know. But
yeah. Well, that's true. Post credit scene. I mean, uh, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we did that with One Division, I guess. Um, but yeah, and then yeah, and then I guess to kind of wrap things up, Will, we got towards the end of the episode where Loki kind of feels defeated, you know, after just kind of just grasping everything what has happened to his what happened to him in this whole episode, and Agent Mobius comes in and talked to him, and Loki, finally kind of accept and say like, did he say like he did not enjoy killing, or like he does enjoy killing?
He said he doesn't. He
Yeah.
did it because he like had to make people scared of him.
Yes, exactly. Feared him
Right.
so that he can be taken serious, right?
Right.
And that was a great scene, to see him feel vulnerable, to this completely stranger, and now knowing his like future, right? And like of course Morbius, agent Mobius is gonna offer him a chance to like change, I guess, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then right away we get the big reveal of this episode that the people, the person that's killing the time variant authority agents is him, another version of Loki. And I was shocked that we already dropped that. Like I thought they were gonna drag that to maybe 3 episodes. Nope, they did it first episode. I was so happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I feel like this episode, I feel like Loki has done a good job of pacing the show right, because that was one of our issues with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where like they were trying to pay off some things, they were trying to set up something that was okay, this is the storyline, but then that didn't connect at all. Here is like, okay, this is what the storyline is. This is a version of Loki that we don't know yet is killing off these time variant authority agents. We don't know why, and like it's just killing, and then also collecting what is it, the reset chargers.
Yeah.
They do kind of like the Man in Black new laser to erase their memories. And then afterwards we get a scene of the agent that was with Owen Wilson's character in the beginning. We see them going to this another location, and they got attacked, they got ambushed, and then it's I was very impressed. I mean, like that's honestly Loki we know now, but like it's interesting. Like you think that's maybe Lady Loki, or like it's maybe a older version Loki?
I don't know.
Because
yeah, we'll find out. I'm excited. Like I hope they do alternate versions, like female and kid and old. I think that'd be fun, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I hope we see other versions of Loki. We also have Richard E. Grant coming into the show as well,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so he could be the older Loki. And by the way, folks, I was talking to Will for this podcast. I mentioned the Hitman's Wife Bodyguard, and he's in that because he was in the first film, and he's funny in those films. So I think he could play a funny Loki. Yeah. So I think to like wrap things up, Will, just final thoughts on this film. Are you excited to move on to the series and just get more of these episodes now after a long break?
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see like where the story goes and where they take the character. So I think it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. I'm so happy we are going back to the TV weekly series. It's been almost over a month since the last show,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully this one sticks the landing. I feel like that's been a major problem with the Disney Plus shows. That
the endings.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take out my enjoyment of the shows, but like it does just damper my enjoyment of just the payoffs that we got from the other episodes. But I will say I for me, I never rewatch episodes or a show if I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first Disney Plus show that I actually rewatch twice.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, because the other ones I just do a one watch and then I just talk the podcast. This time I actually watch twice, and before the podcast we started, and so that's impressive for this show. I think this just shows how this show is so different, but like it exceeded my expectations. Um, More than I think those shows did right away. I like their premieres, but like I feel like this show just right away got me hooked for this show, and it helps as well with the actors. I mean, Tom Hiddleston is great. I think he feels like still Loki after 10 years of this role. Um, Another before we leave is also I love the title, the end credits. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty cool. I love the music here. It feels like a very Clockwork Orange kind of vibe.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so I love the projection sign of this show. It reminds me so much of Legion. That's another thing. Um, uh, that makes me very excited about this show because the signs remind me of that of Legion's projection sign when it was aired. But okay. Anything else we have to say, Will? That we covered everything for this episode.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Um. Oh. So next Sunday me and will come back to do episode 2 of Loki. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Hit that subscribe button and have a good day.